Self-discipline is the foundation of leadership because without it, no other leadership qualities can be fully developed. It is the ability to control your impulses, emotions, and actions in a way that aligns with your long-term goals and values. Leadership isn't about being in charge of others. It's about being in charge of yourself first. The best leaders don't wait for motivation. They act based on discipline. They do what needs to be done even when they don't feel like it. Every successful leader has mastered the art of self-discipline. Think about great athletes, business leaders, or anyone who has achieved something remarkable. They didn't rely on feelings to get up early, train hard, or push through challenges. They developed habits and routines that kept them on track, even on the days when they weren't feeling inspired. Leadership starts when you train yourself to follow through on commitments, no matter how difficult or inconvenient they may seem in the moment. One of the biggest challenges people face is distraction. We live in a world full of noise, notifications, emails, social media, and endless entertainment. Without self-discipline, it's easy to lose focus on what truly matters. Great leaders set boundaries. They protect their time. They prioritize what's important over what's urgent. They understand that success is not built overnight, but through consistent, disciplined actions over time. Self-discipline also means delayed gratification. It means choosing long-term success over short-term pleasure. Many people fail not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they lack the discipline to stay committed to their goals. They start strong, but give up when things get hard. Leaders, on the other hand, push through discomfort. They understand that growth happens outside of their comfort zone. Another key aspect of self-discipline is consistency. Anyone can be disciplined for a day or a week, but true discipline is measured in months and years. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't see immediate results. The best leaders don't let emotions dictate their actions. They don't skip workouts because they're tired. They don't avoid tough conversations because they're uncomfortable. They don't wait for inspiration to strike before taking action. They simply do what needs to be done over and over again until it becomes a habit. To build self-discipline, you must start with small, manageable habits. Wake up at the same time every day. Set clear goals and stick to them. Hold yourself accountable for your actions. Remove distractions from your environment. These small habits compound over time, and before you know it, you've built an unshakable foundation of self-discipline. Leadership is not about demanding discipline from others. It's about embodying discipline yourself so that others naturally follow. When people see that you hold yourself to high standards, they will respect you, they will trust you, they will want to follow you. That's what makes self-discipline the most critical trait in leadership. It's not just about what you do, it's about who you become in the process. A strong sense of purpose is what separates true leaders from those who simply go through the motions. Purpose is the driving force that gives meaning to your actions, fuels your resilience, and keeps you moving forward even when challenges arise. Without a clear purpose, it's easy to drift, lose motivation, and become distracted by things that don't truly matter. Leaders who understand their purpose operate with a different level of focus and determination. They don't need constant external motivation because their internal mission drives them. When you have a strong sense of purpose, your actions become intentional. You're no longer just reacting to life, you're directing it. Leaders with purpose wake up each day with clarity about what they need to do and why they need to do it. They understand that every small action contributes to something bigger than themselves. This level of conviction is what inspires others to follow them. People don't just follow leaders because of their titles or authority. They follow them because they believe in their mission. Purpose is what keeps you going when things get tough. It's easy to stay committed when everything is going well, but true leadership is tested in moments of difficulty. When you encounter setbacks, failures, or obstacles, your purpose acts as a guiding light. It reminds you why you started in the first place. It gives you the strength to keep pushing forward when others would quit. Leaders who lack a clear purpose often give up too soon because they don't have a strong enough reason to keep going. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing success with purpose. Many people chase money, status, or recognition, thinking these things will bring them fulfillment. But true leaders understand that real success comes from living with purpose. You can have all the money in the world, but if your work lacks meaning, you will still feel empty. On the other hand, when you are aligned with your purpose, even the toughest days feel worthwhile. Finding your purpose isn't always easy, but it starts with asking the right questions. What drives you? What problems do you care about solving? What kind of impact do you want to make in the world? Purpose is not something you find overnight. It's something you uncover through action and self-reflection. The best leaders take time to reflect on their values, their passions, and the legacy they want to leave behind. They align their daily actions with that bigger mission. Leaders with purpose don't just think about themselves, they think about the people they serve. They use their purpose as a tool to inspire and uplift others. When you are clear about your mission, you naturally attract people who share the same vision. Your energy, commitment, and clarity become contagious. That's why leadership starts from within. Before you can lead others effectively, you must first understand why you are leading in the first place. When you operate with purpose, everything changes. You become more focused, more resilient, and more impactful in everything you do. Discipline is the foundation of effective leadership. Without discipline, good intentions remain just that, intentions. Leaders who lack discipline struggle to be consistent, reliable, or trustworthy. They set goals, but don't follow through. They talk about their ambitions, but fail to put in the work. True leadership requires more than just motivation. It demands daily commitment, structure, and the ability to hold yourself accountable even when no one is watching. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It means showing up every single day, putting in the effort, and staying focused on your priorities. Many people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. But great leaders understand that motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes, but discipline is what keeps you moving forward, regardless of how you feel. When you develop strong discipline, you don't need to rely on bursts of inspiration. You create habits that ensure progress, no matter the circumstances. One of the key aspects of discipline is time management. Leaders who struggle with discipline often find themselves overwhelmed, scattered, or constantly behind. They allow distractions to take over their day, jumping from one task to another without clear direction. But those who have mastered discipline understand that time is their most valuable resource. They set clear priorities, eliminate unnecessary distractions, and dedicate focused time to the things that truly matter. They don't waste hours scrolling through social media, procrastinating, or engaging in activities that don't align with their goals. Instead, they create routines that support their success. Self-discipline is also about holding yourself accountable. Many people make excuses for why they aren't achieving their goals. They blame circumstances, external obstacles, or a lack of opportunities. But disciplined leaders take full responsibility for their actions. They don't make excuses. They find solutions. If something isn't working, they adjust their approach. If they make a mistake, they learn from it, instead of dwelling on failure. This level of accountability builds trust, both with themselves and with others. People respect leaders who practice what they preach, who show consistency in their actions, and who demonstrate resilience in the face of challenges. Another crucial aspect of discipline is emotional control. Leaders are often faced with high-pressure situations, criticism, and moments of uncertainty. Without discipline, emotions can take over, leading to impulsive decisions, frustration, or self-doubt. But disciplined leaders have the ability to stay composed, think rationally, and respond with clarity rather than reacting impulsively. They don't let temporary setbacks derail their progress. Instead, they stay focused on the bigger picture and maintain control over their mindset. Discipline is not something you are born with. It's something you develop through repetition and commitment. It requires setting clear goals, creating systems that support those goals, and consistently pushing yourself to follow through. When you build discipline in your life, you become unstoppable. You no longer rely on motivation or external validation. You operate with a mindset that guarantees success. This is what sets great leaders apart. They don't just talk about their goals, they put in the work every single day to make them a reality. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of true leadership. Before you can effectively lead others, you must first understand yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, values, and motivations. Many people believe that leadership is about directing others, making decisions, and being in charge. But real leadership starts within. If you don't know who you are, what drives you, or what you stand for, how can you expect others to trust and follow you? Developing self-awareness means taking an honest look at yourself. It requires reflection, asking yourself tough questions, and being willing to acknowledge both your strengths and your flaws. Many people avoid self-reflection because it's uncomfortable. It forces them to confront their fears, insecurities, and areas where they fall short. But great leaders understand that growth only happens when you are willing to see yourself clearly. They seek feedback not just from mentors and peers, but also from their own experiences. They analyze their successes and failures to understand what works and what doesn't. One of the most important aspects of self-awareness is understanding your emotions and how they impact your decision-making. Emotional intelligence is a crucial skill for any leader because emotions can cloud judgment. When you are self-aware, you recognize when emotions like frustration, fear, or excitement are influencing your choices. Instead of reacting impulsively, you take a step back and assess the situation rationally. This ability to control your emotions rather than letting them control you is what sets strong leaders apart from the rest. Another key element of self-awareness is knowing your core values. What do you stand for? What principles guide your decisions? Leaders who lack self-awareness often make inconsistent choices, changing their approach depending on the situation or the people around them. But when you have a clear set of values, your leadership becomes stable and reliable. People trust leaders who demonstrate integrity, who don't compromise on their beliefs for short-term gains, and who remain true to their principles even in challenging times. Self-awareness also means understanding your strengths and weaknesses. No one is good at everything, and pretending to be will only lead to burnout and frustration. Great leaders leverage their strengths while actively working on their weaknesses. They surround themselves with people who complement their skills rather than trying to do everything themselves. This level of humility and self-acceptance creates an environment where teamwork thrives because people feel valued for their unique contributions. Beyond professional skills, self-awareness extends to personal habits and mindsets. Many people go through life on autopilot, repeating patterns without questioning whether they serve them. Leaders who cultivate self-awareness take the time to assess their routines, their thought processes, and the stories they tell themselves. Are they holding on to limiting beliefs? Are they allowing fear to dictate their actions? Self-aware leaders challenge themselves to break free from these mental barriers, constantly seeking ways to improve and grow. When you truly understand yourself, you gain clarity, confidence, and the ability to lead with authenticity. You don't have to pretend to be someone you're not. You show up as your true self. And that authenticity is what inspires others. People don't follow titles. They follow individuals who are genuine, self-assured, and committed to continuous improvement. Discipline is the foundation of self-leadership. Without it, even the most talented individuals struggle to reach their potential. It's easy to be motivated when everything is going well, but real leaders stay committed even when motivation fades. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when the excitement wears off, when the results aren't immediate, and when obstacles appear. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and staying focused on your long-term vision. One of the biggest challenges people face is consistency. Many start with great enthusiasm but fail to sustain their efforts over time. Discipline is what separates those who achieve success from those who simply dream about it. It's about creating habits and routines that align with your goals. Leaders understand that small, consistent actions lead to big results. They wake up early, prioritize their most important tasks, and eliminate distraction. They don't let excuses dictate their actions because they understand that progress requires effort, even on the days when they don't feel like it. Self-discipline isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. It means making intentional choices about how you spend your time, energy, and focus. Many people waste hours on unproductive activities that don't bring them closer to their goals. They get caught up in distractions, procrastination, or short-term pleasures that provide instant gratification but no long-term benefits. Leaders recognize that every decision either moves them forward or holds them back. They make conscious choices to invest their time in activities that create real impact. Another key aspect of self-discipline is resilience. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but disciplined individuals don't allow failure to derail them. Instead of making excuses or giving up, they adjust their strategies and keep pushing forward. They view failure as a learning opportunity rather than a reason to quit. Every great leader, every successful individual has faced rejection, criticism, and obstacles. The difference is that they refuse to let those moments define them. They use discipline to stay committed to their purpose, even when the path is difficult. Discipline also plays a crucial role in decision-making. Many people make impulsive choices based on emotions or temporary circumstances, but strong leaders take a step back, assess the bigger picture, and make decisions based on principles rather than fleeting emotions. They resist the temptation to take shortcuts, knowing that true success requires patience and perseverance. They don't chase quick wins at the cost of long-term integrity. This level of discipline builds trust and respect, both in themselves and from those around them. Finally, self-discipline is about personal accountability. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. Leaders don't blame others for their failures or wait for the perfect circumstances to take action. They take full responsibility for their choices, their habits, and their results. They hold themselves to high standards, not because someone else is watching, but because they know that excellence starts with them. True leadership begins with leading yourself first, and discipline is the tool that makes it possible. The ability to lead oneself before leading others ultimately comes down to personal growth and lifelong learning. No great leader ever reaches a point where they believe they have all the answers. Leadership is a journey, not a destination. Those who understand this commit to constantly expanding their knowledge, refining their skills, and evolving as individuals. If you are not growing, you are standing still, and if you are standing still, you are falling behind. The world moves forward, challenges shift, and expectations change. Leaders who fail to adapt, learn, and improve eventually lose their ability to inspire and guide others. Personal growth starts with self-awareness. You cannot become a great leader if you don't understand yourself first. That means recognizing your strengths and weaknesses, being honest about your flaws, and actively working to improve. Many people avoid self-reflection because it forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. But leaders embrace this process because they know that self-improvement is the foundation of success. They seek feedback, listen to criticism without defensiveness, and use it as fuel to get better. They are not afraid to admit when they are wrong because they understand that growth comes from learning, not from pretending to be perfect. Lifelong learners are curious. They ask questions, explore new ideas, and seek knowledge from every possible source. They read books, listen to podcasts, take courses, and engage in meaningful conversations with people who challenge their thinking. They understand that the best ideas often come from outside their own field, so they expose themselves to diverse perspectives. They don't just rely on experience alone, they actively pursue new information to stay ahead. A true leader never stops learning, because the moment you stop learning, you stop leading. Another key element of personal growth is adaptability. The world is constantly changing, and rigid thinking is a liability. Leaders who refuse to adapt become obsolete. They are left behind by those who are willing to evolve with the times. Adaptability means being open to new strategies, willing to shift direction when necessary, and capable of finding solutions even when circumstances change. The best leaders don't just react to change, they anticipate it. They stay ahead by continuously sharpening their minds and expanding their skill sets. Beyond acquiring knowledge, true personal growth requires action. Too many people collect information but never apply it. Reading books and attending seminars won't make you a better leader if you don't implement what you've learned. Growth happens when knowledge is put into practice. Leaders don't just absorb ideas, They execute them. They take small, consistent actions every day to improve themselves, and over time, those actions compound into significant transformation. Ultimately, personal growth is a commitment, not a one-time event. It requires discipline, humility, and an insatiable desire to improve. The most successful leaders understand that their ability to lead others depends entirely on their ability to lead themselves. They don't wait for opportunities to grow, they seek them out. They don't fear change, they embrace it. And because they are committed to lifelong learning, they remain powerful, effective, and inspiring leaders no matter where life takes them.